I'm Todd.
Right.
And
Alex.
you are? Alex?
Nice to meet you.
Not Alex Jones.
No, I'm not Alex Jones. No,
where are you from,
I'm
Alex?
actually from St. Paul, actually.
From St. Paul?
Yep.
Are you close by here in St. Paul?
Yes, I live probably about 5-10 minutes away.
5-10 minutes away.
Yep.
So you walked?
No,
No, he said.
No, I live on the other side of
the interstate.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So Alex, what brings you out here today? What motivates you? Because as I said it when I introduced myself, honestly, there aren't a lot of minorities out here, and I think a misconception in society today, especially in a state like Minnesota, is that this is almost predominantly a white cause.
Yeah.
So what motivated you? What brought you out here, Alex?
Well, first, I think in order for you to understand why I am here,
yep,
you need to understand my back history.
Okay.
And more say my testimony, just
awesome.
to be. Originally I was born in Africa, in Liberia.
Okay.
We came here back in 93.
Alrighty.
So we moved here.
You were a young man.
Yep. So I was 7 or 8 years old. I grew up a Christian. Going to Christian events and stuff like that. But I drifted away. I went to school like every other kid, and I got to live a normal, life. But within that life came teachings and ideologies that I was taught, but I just never really took that into account.
Okay.
I just lived life and just did things a certain way. But it wasn't until I became a born again Christian as my life changed.
Okay.
When I made Jesus Christ my Lord and Savior, my life changed. It just was no longer God, God is here, and then everything else I do is here. No, it was how can God be involved in everything I do and then say. That is including my, that is including my worldview.
Right.
So all of that began to be challenged the more and more I started reading the Bible, because I grew up.
I want to make sure we catch this. So.
Yeah, that's right. Right. So my worldview changed, right? So as I'm going through life now, Jesus have turned everything upside down for me, because the way that I was living no longer exists. I needed to live according to how God wants.
You mean you were made new?
Yeah. I was. So, and how does this apply to this? Politics, right? Because the lie is that Christians should not be involved in politics.
Right.
Politics is here, and
I'm not a very neutral interviewer right now.
Right. Okay. right. So exactly the opposite. America was founded on biblical principles.
Yep.
All right. So I also studied.
Even with all the wrong they were doing.
Even with all the wrongs that they did, they still was able to make it right. And as we can see, the ones who were enforcing and literally changing our culture were biblical men who had conviction about the Bible.
Right.
So they are literally how do I even put the words together? They are literally making a difference. So now regarding this, right?
Yep.
Growing up, it is almost a rule that because of the skin color that I am, I should vote a certain way. That is just a natural thing that people just think of. nobody ever goes on the other side, okay? Meaning Democrat, Republican. You just stay as a, Democrat because I'm black, right? So as I began to do my own research and my own take on it, and checking out the history of slavery within this country, but also checking out the slavery then and who started it, okay?
And the slavery
and
now.
how is it happening now? Because everybody said, well, that was hundreds of years ago.
Right.
But how is it happening now? And we always get to see this every couple years, right? Especially within the black community.
Right.
It's always the show up, they get to, talk, and then get your, votes, and then leave.
Right.
But also,
Nice to meet you.
yes, sir.
Take care.
Also, the policies that are, set is literally meant to keep blacks in slavery.
Yep.
So if you look at just all of that, all of those policies literally hurt the minority, so
Well, I'm glad for the enthusiasm.
But yeah, so the policies is hurting blacks, okay? And we've always heard the lie, but yet history confirms the opposite. But also now the policies are hurting the African American community.
So would you agree with this statement, Alex? I said this to someone anonymously just to see what kind of reactions I got through Facebook, but the people who were the most easily oppressed in the past are also the most easily oppressed now when policies are changed. In other words, if blacks and others who are so easily oppressed by the same system that they expect to liberate them now were oppressed in the past, do you believe it's just as easy for them to be oppressed today by the same system?
No, because I think we have come such a long way. Times have changed, and there has. I don't think people can continue to live under that assumption because the times have changed. I mean, slavery no longer. I mean, literally,
Chattel
the
slavery.
freedom we have. What?
Chattel slavery.
Right. The opportunity we have now is completely different from back then. So I think it's more of a lack of understanding of what our country represents.
Right.
And just the lack of how do I put it? Just the lack of knowledge, I mean, like I really don't have an exact word to put it, but I don't really agree with the fact that people can still use that same excuse, because now it's, and so I think it's time.
So I'll wrap it up with this. If Governor Walz were willing to talk to you today, Alex, what's a very succinct, clear statement of what you would say to him about this situation? What would you ask of him?
I would encourage him to follow the Constitution of Minnesota but also of the United States.
Awesome.
And what he's doing right now isn't constitutional.
Would you remind him that he's not the ruler but the servant?
Yes. Yes, I would.
Who's in charge in the
God
United
is.
States? Right.
God
and
is.
under God in the Constitution of the United States, after that, what's the highest ruling authority in the United States?
Say that again.
After God,
Okay.
what is the highest ruling authority, the highest ruling law in the United States? The Constitution?
The Constitution,
Yeah.
of course.
Right.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
I was trying to,
I don't always ask questions in a very succinct way. So
The Constitution.
Absolutely.
God, the Constitution.
right.
Yes.
So
So,
the elected
of law.
officials answer to
To us.
us and the Constitution.
Constitution, yes.
Awesome. It's
work.
really good to meet you. I
Yep.
appreciate your time.
Yep.
I think I have one of my actual ministry cards. I don't
Yeah.
have a card for my
No, that's
new
fine.
channel. But if you look up the Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, I just started the channel today. I would love a subscription
Yes.
and a share.
I think my pastor actually mentioned the Black Robe Regiment during one of his teachings.
Where do you worship?
Worship? I go to a church called Calvary Chapel.
Okay.
Yep. And so my pastor definitely encourages us to get involved.
Awesome.
And because our rights are being invaded, and we want to live within a society where we can freely speak of our faith.
Awesome.
So if we don't do that, well then
Awesome.
we end up like other countries.
Absolutely.
So, definitely.
Man, it's always nice to Look me up, man. Thanks
Yep,
for your
definitely.
time. Appreciate it.